After being reborn, I decided to write my sister's name on the marriage application. This time, I would help Sebastian Holt achieve his wishes. I personally helped my sister Vivian try on the wedding dress, adjusting the veil with a soft smile.
Vivian, you look beautiful. Sebastian will be stunned when he sees you.
I let her wear the wedding dress first and slipped the engagement ring onto her finger myself. Vivian looked at me with surprised eyes.
Rachel, how can I possibly accept this? This is your wedding. You and Sebastian?
I smiled softly.
Of course you can. You two are the ones who are truly meant to be together.
I personally orchestrated every encounter between Sebastian and my sister. When he took her to the capital city, I stood at the door and said calmly, "Go ahead, Seb. Take Vivian with you. She's never been to the capital before. I'll be fine." When he took her to the capital city, I headed to Southport University without a second thought. In my previous life, even when I was over 50 years old, he and our son still knelt before me. Sebastian's voice was hoarse as he begged,
"Rachel, please sign the divorce papers. I've suffered for too many years."
Our son Albert lowered his head.
"Mom, you're inferior to Aunt Vivian in every way. Just let Dad go."
This time, I would fulfill his long-cherished wish and give him the romance he truly desired.
Just fill in your name and give it to me.
Sebastian Holt impatiently tapped the table. I stared at the marriage application, my fingertips gently rubbing the rough edges of the paper as my thoughts drifted. In my previous life, I solemnly filled in my own name as if I were handling a sacred decree, then excitedly dragged Sebastian to buy our wedding things. All I ended up getting was a harsh scolding from him because he was rushing back to take care of Vivian Hayes during her period. Now I just responded dismissively. "I got it." I glanced up at his anxious expression and that hand that kept checking his watch. He was wearing a white shirt today with sleeves rolled up to his elbows, revealing his well-defined forearms. I remembered that Vivian loved this look on him most. She said it made him look clean and refreshed. I said, suppressing the bitterness rising in my heart while feigning nonchalance. "If you is emergent to mintrally, go ahead. I'll samly back Tinger to deceasers."
Don't worry. Since we're getting married, I'll take responsibility for you. But stop being jealous of Vivian from now on. If others find out, it'll damage her reputation.
He said nothing more and hurriedly turned to leave. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my erratic heartbeat, but my mind could not stop replaying scenes from my previous life. On our wedding night, he used the excuse of caring for my sick sister and never came home. Later, when his military posting required relocation, he only took Vivian along, saying she had never been to the capital before. Even on the day our son was born, Sebastian was not available as he was busy comforting Vivian through her divorce. Right up to my deathbed, our son, Albert Holt, still earnestly pleaded,
"Mom, just divorce Dad. You're inferior to Aunt Vivian in every way. Dad has suffered by being with you all these years, so let him go."
I lay weakly in the hospital bed, my body frail and trembling. Turning my head with great effort, I looked at my indifferent husband sitting beside me. My voice was hoarse and barely above a whisper.
"Sebastian, do you also think this way? Do you also believe I've made you suffer all these years?"
Sebastian remained silent. He didn't look at me. His eyes stayed fixed on the floor, his face expressionless. The long, deathly silence was his only answer. Tears slipped from the corners of my eyes. With the last bit of strength I had, I said softly,
I understand."
I bit down hard on my lower lip until I tasted blood, then slowly released it. No, I would not repeat the same mistakes in this lifetime. I picked up the pen and slowly wrote 2 words in the applicant column. Vivian Hayes. Since Sebastian loved Vivian so much, he should have it his way. I handed the completed application to the clerk, took the marriage certificate, and left the city clerk's office. I felt no sadness instead. There was an indescribable sense of liberation. In my previous life, Vivian and I were adopted by the Holt family after our parents died in the line of duty. Vivian had a silver tongue and knew exactly how to charm people, winning over Sebastian's parents so completely that they treated her better than their own daughter.
Mom, you treat me even better than my own mother did when she was alive. I'm really so lucky to be your daughter in this lifetime. Dad, I heard you haven't been feeling well lately. This is especially for you, the soup. You have to drink a few more bowls, okay? I hope you stay healthy and strong.
Sebastian's mother, Penelope Kane, even harbored early hopes of having Vivian marry Sebastian. However, with just one simple statement from Vivian,
Sister is my only family. I don't want to compete with her.
She managed to make Sebastian willingly choose me instead. In reality, Vivian was just stringing Sebastian along. After all, Sebastian was merely a captain at the time. She wanted to wait for someone better.
Seb, you actually didn't stay with my sister and came back specially to accompany me. Will she get angry?
Sebastian naturally wrapped his arm around her waist, his palm slowly sliding down the side of her waist, his tone low and intimate.
Is her anger important? Every time you get your period, your face turns pale from the pain. How could I possibly leave you alone at home?
His fingertips traced lazy circles around her waist dimple. Vivian's body trembled slightly, but she didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned even closer into his embrace, a hint of triumph flashing in her eyes.
Then, Sab, after you marry my sister, will you still treat me this well? Will you stop wanting me?
Sebastian lowered his head to look at her. His hand slowly traveled upward from her waist, tracing inch by inch along her spine, finally stopping at the back of her neck where he gently pinched it.
Silly girl. Who else would I treat well if not you? If your sister dares to bully you, I'll divorce her. Do you believe me?
Vivian's cheeks flushed red. She glared at him coquettishly and reached out as if to push him away, her palm pressing lightly against his chest, but without any real strength.
Hateful? What are you saying? Who wants you to get a divorce?
I took a deep breath, composed myself, and walked into the house as if nothing had happened. Sebastian and Vivian both froze on the spot. They stared at me with faces full of shock and disbelief.
Why are you here?